First and foremost, I'd like to give all honors, praises, thanksgivings, glories, greetings, salutations, respects to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Sham, Bahasham, Makara, Wakakurash, Yahweh. He is, He has been, He will be. Yahweh, He is existence. Yahweh, He exists. Yahweh Shai, He is salvation. He is liberty. He is victory. He is deliverance. He is help. He is succor. Yahweh Shai. He saves only the true Hebrew Israelites of the true 12 tribe chart, so-called dark, black, browns, peoples of the world, so-called African Americans bartered around the West Atlantic slave trade, so-called Aboriginal, original Native Americans, so-called Hispanic Latinos from North South America and all over the world, whose original homestead is Jerusalem, Israel. Rakah Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit. So double honors, salutations, peace to the men of a great millstone, the leaders who rule well with 100% truth from the Old Testament, New Testament, Apocrypha, 100% truth needed for salvation, the name, following the law, sacred commandments to the best of one's ability, the work, the milk, the meat, 100% truth from the elders of Great Millstone, that were Jahar, Ramagabar, Rakal, Walk, who rule well, past, present, and future, and who will rule forever under Adonai Yahushua, whom will legally cause Jesus and Malach Dawad, King David, when they break through the clouds in a cloud, so-called UFOs, is Israel's vehicles are spaceships, believe it or not. So, in thus, double peace, honor, salutations, the elders of GMS Great Millstone. Shalom to the Achaemenid and the housing by way to internet information super how it pushes this truth, the sincerity, and the four corners of the earth, brother Sharoth, one more time. Until thermal, nuclear annihilation, fiery indignation of Yahweh, while Yahweh Shai, whom the world legally calls God, and Jesus, are launched from the missile silos of Gog from the land of Gog, in Russia from the land of Russia, towards Babylon the Great Mystery, Babylon, America. America is Babylon and will be set on motherfucking fire. America is Babylon the Great. Esau Edom are the so-called red, white European Caucasians. America, along with Esau Edom, are going to be set on motherfucking fire. During World War III, as I have mentioned, brought to you by Russia from the land of Russia. But now before the implementation of the temptation of the hour of the whole world, RFID chip Neuralink is the mark of the beast. Any high technology inserted anywhere in your body, you will be set on fire in Babylon, the Great Mystery, Babylon, the bitch horse slut that sits on the beast. So and thus, RFID chip is the Neuralink, mark of the beast, or so like and the RFID chip and the Neuralink is the mark of the beast, and World War III is now. So and thus, Brother Sharoth, one more time, coming at you with more of Psalms 137. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy. So, giving you some precepts. Psalm 74:2. Remember thy congregation, which thou hast purchased of old, the rod of thine inheritance, which thou hast redeemed, this Mount Zion, where thou hast dwelt. Remember thy congregation, which thou hast purchased of old, the rod of thine inheritance, which thou hast redeemed, this Mount Zion, wherein thou hast dwelt. Psalm 74:2. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. Yeah, we wept when we remembered Zion. And like I said in my last video, the only people who are remembering Zion and very sincerely, dearly want to be in Israel right now with Yahushua at the head and everything in its proper position is the hopeful elect. Every other asshole who's a Hebrew Israelite. Whether they're in the truth or not, those who are not in the truth could give a fuck about anything changing. Even through this hellhole that 90% of the world is feeling, somehow these assholes aren't feeling it. Somehow. Either they are and they don't give a fuck, or they are and they're trying to power through it, or they're actually not getting touched, which is a mark from Yahweh. If your life is comfortable and you have everything you want, literally food, materialism, and women, you are marked for destruction. Unless you are Joseph of Arimathea in the reincarnation, you will be set on motherfucking fire. So, if you live comfortable, super comfortable, more comfortable, or as comfortable as a red, white, European Caucasian in this life, and you're a Hebrew Israelite, you're already fucked. So, and thus, and like I said, just because you got it all, don't mean you aren't fucked. If you're Joseph of Arimathea coming back in a reincarnation, you will do the right thing with all your money. But I highly doubt any of you niggers who ain't feeling the pinch right now are doing the right thing. Which is why you're not feeling the pinch, because you're worshiping Satan, the devil, and you have access to food, money, clothes, and hoes. So, and thus, you niggas ain't repenting, regretting, relenting, or remembering Zion. And the other half of the niggas who aren't remembering Zion and who do want to go back there, but who want to go back there with Esau Edom, but who are thinking that maybe the new Jerusalem and Israel is America, which is demonic as fuck for me. That's a wayward doctrine, if I ever heard one. Saying that when Yahushua comes, the whole world will be saved and everyone will stay where they're at, including the nationalities and the systems. So what's Yahushua going to do? Just kick it in Israel or run around just kicking it here and there and not telling anyone what to do? Just kind of being in the background? You black nigger Hebrew Israelites sicken me. So and thus, my point is that the only people who are repenting, regretting, repenting are the true people of Yahweh, Yahweh, spiritual and genetic Hebrew Israelites, not just genetic Hebrew Israelites, spiritual and genetic Hebrew Israelites, who are in a complete world of hurt and are sighing and crying for the filthy abominations done in the midst thereof, and want Yahweh to break through the clouds and let's just put it this way, save them while unaliving and setting on fire the rest of the world and its people, the rest of the world and its people, the rest of the world and its people. Meaning, salvation is for less than 1 or 2% of the world, and the rest of you niggas are gonna have to get it. So, the only people repenting, regretting is the hopeful elect. So first, Psalms 2:10, the adversaries of our lion Yahweh shall be broken to pieces. Out of heaven shall we thunder upon him. Out of heaven shall we thunder upon him. Lion Yahweh shall judge the ends of the earth, America, and he shall give strength unto his king Yahweh, Malak Dawan, and those 144,000, and exalt the horn power of his anointed Mashiach. So, if I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy, remembering Yahweh, law, statutes, commandments, Israel, Jerusalem, and the glory that we had back in the day, and that we will have through the blood of Yahushua now in the future, we shall be comforted up into salvation, even if we have to give up the ghost and strive into blood. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy, and I'm going to go into this word again, sâmach, sâmach, sâmachâ. The first word in the groups of words sâmach is sâmachâ, H8057, joy, gladness, mirth. Blith, which really means blithesome, or glee, which is another word for joy, gladness, and mirth. Blithesome and glee, or blithesome and glee, pretty much meaning you're happy as fuck. From the word sâmach, H8056, rejoice, glad, joyful, merry. Also from blithe and gleeful, blithe, joyful. Finally, from the word sâmach, H8055, to brighten up. Study and show yourself approved. Because if you're like, well, what does it matter if there's 4 or 5 words sâmach and they all mean blitheful and gleeful, and they all end up being translated into joy, merry, and gladness? You got to understand that the actual root word means literally to brighten up. So if you brighten something up, that's literal. You're actually shining it, or you're making something to actually have light bounce off of it. And abstractly, metaphorically, figuratively, as it says right here, it means to be blithe for gleesome, which in itself connotates shininess. And then from there it is translated figuratively yet again into be glad and joyful. You see how here the word sâmach is broken down and it says primitive root. That means the actual literal meaning is to brighten up, make things shiny. Then it'll go on to tell you figuratively what it means to be blithfold, gleesome, and then it'll go on to tell you how it translated it in the Bible to be glad and to be joyful. If you don't know understand any of this, like I said, Paleo Hebrew is easy, but it ain't that easy. It is easy after a year or two of getting the basics down, and then through the Holy Spirit, through the Holy Spirit, through the Holy Spirit, you come into the fruition of the power and the abundance of wealth that the Paleo Hebrew is. And it makes the book, not that it's not alive when you read it in other languages, but it, like Sirach says, it makes it even more powerful in your own native original language, because the language of Hebrew is the language of angels and Yahweh, whom the world ignorantly calls God, and is powerful and is living in and of itself. The language itself is saying more things than what you are saying when you're speaking. So if I say sâmach, I am literally saying to be brighten up, to be blitheful, and to be glad at the same time. And while they all mean slightly the same thing, they also mean slightly different things. And so I jump from mashak, shalakia, sâmach, to be rejoice for gladful, but literally to brighten up, to its brother word, mashach. And y'all should know what mashach means, where we get the word mashiach, where Christians get the word Christ, which really means to be anointed. Slakia, mashayach, a brother word to sâmach. And if you have eyes to see, or even ears to hear, literally, you'll see and notice that they are the same three letters, except in sâmach, which means glad, to be bright, it's the sha, then the ma, then the ka. And in mashayak, the ma and the sha switched places. It's called metathesis in linguistics and philology, which is the study of language. And all it means is that two letters in the same group of letters that have the same letters are switched, and those two words, both both words that have the same letters, but within each word they're switched, they're brother words, and that means that they have the same root definition, but have different meanings. And if that's messing you up, I'll try to put it in more stupider terms, but keeping it simple stupid only works so long much. If you still keep it simple or try to keep it super stupid simple and people don't understand, then that's when the saying, if a nigga don't get it, we moving on, comes into play. So yes, I agree keeping it simple, because the simplicity of Yahweh salvation is that simple. But if it was really that simple, you would think that 99% of the world, or if not 100, would already accept this automatically. But it's not, so it's not. So yes, keeping it simple is a thing, but simple, super simple, is not a thing. So I'm running out of time trying to keep it simple, but it ain't. So, and thus, coming back at you with more of Mashayak, the word thereof, and more precepts to back up Psalms 137. 8. So until then, shalom, be out the water, Shalom.